No,
in fact, if you say about the servers and all these things, Chebukati had no idea what exactly they were.
Let me hear from Irungu Kangata. I want to hear from a legislator whether you agree with them, and if not, then what the solution should be.
No, the truth is, from where I sit and from my experience as a politician, no one wins or loses because of shenanigans of IBC.
I think I beg to differ on that, because
that is not particularly presidential. Even a presidential election. You see, in politics, by the way, you can know whether you are winning or not 5 months to the election. You can be able to have. You can be able to do projections. I can tell you, politics is a science. You can be able to do a projection.
Yes, a science.
And the only problem which I may concede, you can lose in a situation where you are competing almost at a 50-50%. There, IBC matters. Why? Because if, let's say, for instance, one ballot or two or three are miscounted, yes, that can impact on your elections. But in a presidential elections where, for instance, the gap is usually about 1 million, no way. Particularly in a country which is politics is
That 1 million is true if it is a credible 1 million. If it is verifiable 1 million.
Look here, listen. Well, I agree from an idealistic point of view, and I think we need to move. I agree. We need to strive to reach that ideal. Every vote must count. That one I agree. Of course, we need to have a very perfect society. But from a political point of view, I can tell you, in an ethnically divided society, you can tell whether you are winning or not 1 year to the election. Because it's a simple issue. You just take out the statistics of population, you take out the voters register, you look at your people, who are your people, you know whether you are going to lose or not. That is the reality of no, listen, number two. The example my guy here is giving here. No, I'm telling you, IBC is a scapegoat. It has been a scapegoat. No. The example my friend here is giving is what we call the fallacy of false generalization. You go, you pick one mistake. I agree, it's possible you found that mistake, but then you do a false generalization. Who told you that happened in Migori? Who told you that happened, let's say, in Siaya or in Muranga or in Nyeri?
People will not be caught.
I can tell you, right, a lot.
This chief whip position has robbed the country of a very vibrant legislator. I'm very brilliant. We have been robbed.
No.
I feel very bad about it.
No, the point is, yes, I agree that there are problems in IBC, but I know from where I sit, IBC does not determine who wins an election and who loses, particularly presidential elections.
All right,
where the gap has always been about 1 million plus.
Senator Michael.
I want to say something that my brother here is conflicting himself, the senator. He's saying he agrees, but he goes on to say what he does not agree with, which is not clear. But one thing is IB determines who becomes the leader, who becomes an MP, because they announce him. And they give you the numbers. And if you have issues, now you go to court. Now that's where the problem is. The problem, the example I'm giving you, if it was not just for that particular area, then we will not have had as many MPs and as many governors and as many who have been taken to court, my brother. You don't go to court because you just want to bother somebody. It costs money. And when we are addressing IBC is the cause of all these things. There are cases like the Homa Bay situation where the governor has been taken to court and he was asked, IBC has been asked to produce original papers, Form 37A. They were not able to produce them. And they were relying on Honorable Magwanga's papers, literally. And so they were asked, bring yours so that we can compare them with the copies that these guys have. And they were not able. Their lawyers were not able to bring them. Now, you say that's just an excluded case somewhere at the corner of this country. No, it is IBC. And if their bosses are not able to give the guideline, are not able to give the leadership, the people on the ground will do just as the same as the head does. And so that is a problem in the IBC. Okay. And we have to change it.
Let me tell you what turned the case at the Supreme Court. In my view, and having talked to a few of them, the moment IBC came back, they had been ordered to open the server and to do all those things. When they came back and said some people are still sleeping in France, and the moment that was said, you could see in the faces of the judges, some of them were literally annoyed that they are still sleeping. It is what. Now, your IEBC, knowing very well there's a contest, and a contest involving ICT, are not able to put their counterparts on notice that this may be required. Please get ready, you may open these windows and doors. That is an IEBC that requires some work. Remember when the late Kivuitu said, I don't know who has won. They are tinkering with figures. Then 2 hours down the road, Honorable Kibaki was sworn in State House. 1 hour later, we started cutting each other with pangas. That is how vital IEBC is. Therefore, tinkering with it until later in the day is dangerous for the country, but somebody will benefit. It will be either Raila or Ruto or somebody else or yourself if you are running. But when it is disorganized and you are the beneficiary, it is a good thing. But when you are the victim,
when you're on the losing end. Gentlemen, we are running out of time. So Irungu Kangata, I'll start with you. Are you happy with the state of IEBC now? And what solution should we be putting in place now? Come 2022, we're not sitting here and saying IEBC is to blame.
No, I'm not happy. Of course, I would want a permanent and more peaceful IEBC. And the strategies that we need to put in, I think we need a government position. What is the way forward? That way, in the Senate, we'll be able to come up with proposals on how we can ensure we give Kenya a more stable, a more institutionalized IEBC.
You as a senator, what is it that you'd like to tell Kenyans in regards to what you are going to do to ensure that we have a good, we have IEBC in place in good time?
Yes, personally, we have been discussing that issue in the Justice and Legal Committee, which I am a member, and we are here to table a report. Once we sit down, we are going to propose, for instance, how to fill in those vacancies which are there, and as to whether we need to indict the current commissioners, because of course once they lost the Supreme Court, it was a major indictment on the way they managed those elections. That can form a basis for us to kick them out. But another message that I want to tell to Kenyans is quite important. As a politician who is gunning for the presidential election, yes, it is important you to look at what is happening in the IEBC, to also ensure that IEBC is a good commission, but on the other hand, and most importantly, put your effort with the people. That is the bottom line. Put your effort with the people.
All right.
Ensure you have
IEBC's tool of trade is basically credibility. Trust that people place and trust. They lost that trust. Whether they did something wrong or they didn't do it. They worsened it when Chiloba was now fighting with the chairman. Therefore, going to the election with the distrust will have issues. My solution is to request President Uhuru, just like he has given other people jobs, the Minister Tobiko, Kaindi, and several others, he can offer the remaining 3 commissioners jobs, other jobs, so that they pave the way for reorganization of the commission for the sake of this country and for the sake of his legacy. These people may not have done anything wrong that what their removal. But for the sake of the country, please give them jobs. There are enough jobs. Other jobs, then you reorganize this one, then we prepare so that we have credibility as we go to 2022. If we meet Jacom, we...
Michael Agwanda, very briefly, your closing comments.
If you didn't take people who were involved in the chicken gate scandal to court and instead give them other positions elsewhere, impunity, corruption, and bribery will still continue in IEBC. And let me tell you one thing. People know in the public opinion court whether you've won an election or not. You might be an MP or a president, but the public court knows that you stole, because some of these people that are involved in the IEBC tallying center will tell you, this one we just added, because they are our brothers. We meet them out there. We have to radically bring changes in IEBC from top to bottom for credibility of IEBC to come back again. People will not trust these same personalities we are seeing on TV every day calling themselves IBC to decide on the boundaries that are supposed to review now, to decide on the by-elections. It might be very good. But again, one acrimonious election in this country is a presidential election. We will not see the same faces again come who said we cannot access the server, who said that we think there could have been tampering somewhere, who cannot open the server in front of the Supreme Court of this land because they do not want to release the information. That IBC is not credible. That IBC is still being protected by the Senate. That IBC is still being protected by the parliament in the interest of the executive of this country. Whether they are the people that want to benefit from this again in the next general election, I don't know, but it must be